Law 33, called Find Each Person's Weak Spot, is one of the 48 rules talked about in the book, The 48 Laws of Power, by Robert Greene. It suggests that every person has a weakness, a vulnerability, or an insecurity that can be used against them to gain power and influence over them. This weakness is called a thumbscrew, comparing it to the medieval torture tool used to cause pain and get confessions. 1. Understanding the main idea. At the core of this law is the idea that everyone, no matter how powerful or sure of themselves they seem, has a basic weakness or vulnerability that can be used against them. This thumbscrew is often a mind or emotion problem, an insecurity, need, or hidden want that the person tries really hard to hide from the world. The thought is that by finding and pushing on this weak point, you can control the person's behavior and choices to benefit yourself. Just like a real thumbscrew, once you have found the vulnerable spot and started to twist, the person will have little choice but to bend to your will. Richelieu's rise to power is used as a prime example. He saw that the young King Louis XIII depended on his mother, the Queen Mother Marie de Médicis, for emotional help and guidance. By first getting Marie's favor through big praise, Richelieu was able to position himself as an important link between the king and his mother. This allowed him to slowly move Marie aside and make himself the real power behind the throne. 2. Spotting the thumbscrew. Finding someone's thumbscrew needs a sharp eye for detail and a deep understanding of how people think. It's not about simply looking for obvious weaknesses, but rather uncovering the subtle, hidden vulnerabilities that the person desperately tries to conceal. Noticing when someone is trying to discover and use your own thumbscrew against you requires being very self-aware and observant. The key is to look for subtle behavior signs and indirect probing from the other person. For example, they may show unusual interest in your childhood experiences, your biggest fears, or your secret pleasures. They may also offer to fulfill emotional needs you've never shared with them before. Pay close attention to how they interact with you. Do they seem intent on making you feel insecure, inadequate, or dependent on their favor? Additionally, be wary of anyone who seems too eager to become your close friend or who suddenly changes their attitude towards you. These could be signs that they are trying to map out your vulnerabilities. Key strategies include paying close attention to unconscious behaviors and unspoken signs. Gestures, facial expressions, tone of voice, and the like can all reveal underlying insecurities or wants. Looking for differences between a person's public image and their private actions. The outgoing extrovert, who is secretly full of self-doubt, or the uptight individual hiding secret indulgences. Probing for emotional voids or unmet needs, such as a lack of parental support or recognition, that the person may be desperately trying to fill. Identifying the person's idols, obsessions, and biggest fears. These can often provide insight into their mind's weak spot. The more you can get the person to open up and reveal their innermost thoughts and feelings, the better equipped you'll be to locate and use their thumbscrew. 3. Applying pressure. Using Law 33 well requires a combination of keen observation, understanding emotions, and a willingness to manipulate others. Start by closely studying the people around you, their gestures, speech patterns, reactions, and the differences between their public and private selves. Identify their insecurities, wants, and emotional weaknesses that they try to hide. Once you've identified the target's weakness, the next step is to skillfully apply pressure to it. This requires a gentle touch and a deep understanding of how people think and what motivates them. Some key principles: fill the person's emotional voids, provide the validation, attention, or fulfillment of fantasies that they crave, making them dependent on you. Play on uncontrollable emotions like lust, greed, or vanity. These basic drives are often the most exploitable. Careful long-term study of a target's unconscious vulnerabilities, childhood traumas, and fixations to map psychological torture. Secretly sending in charming intelligence workers to get into a target's personal life, betray their trust, and report vulnerabilities. Deliberately creating traumatic, high-risk situations that undermine a target's stability and personal boundaries. Gradually build trust and connection, then slowly use that relationship to manipulate the person's behavior. Be patient and strategic. Rushing in too aggressively can cause the person to pull away and protect their vulnerabilities. The key is to make them feel that you are the only one who can provide what they so desperately crave. The ultimate goal is to position yourself as the sole source of what the person desperately needs, making them putty in your hands. But be careful. Pushing too hard can backfire and unleash uncontrollable reactions that undermine your plans. In summary, Law 33 is a powerful but risky tool for gaining influence and control. It requires exceptional insight, understanding emotions, and a willingness to manipulate others for your own ends. Use it wisely with a clear understanding of the ethical implications and potential dangers. Now remember, what you watch and feed your mind matters. Be deliberate in your choices. Otherwise, algorithms are programmed to manipulate your thoughts. Think about it. Now we're welcoming contributions through subscriptions to fuel our upcoming projects and provide you with exceptional content. Join our community by subscribing today.